We'll take you through the details of that massive land for job scam. Documents, deeds, and also details of the investigation that's been carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. More to come in this edition of This Is Exclusive. But up first, let's take a look at the headlines we are tracking for you at this hour. CBI makes its second arrest in connection with the land for job scam involving former Railway Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav. In a massive statement, Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai said that the murder of BJP Yuva Morcha worker Praveen Netar may have been a pre-planned conspiracy given the BJP-led government's head-on stance against extremists. Union Minister said that the organizations like PFI and SDPI may have links in the murder of BJP Yuva Morcha worker Praveen Netar. Enforcement Directorate conducted fresh raids at Orpita Mukherjee's ancestral home in 24 Parganas, where more cash was recovered. Tonight on this edition of This Is Exclusive, we are getting you documents that nails the role of the former Chief Minister, Union Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav. What's Lalu Prasad Yadav's role as far as the land for job scam is concerned? And why is it that the arrest of Bhola Yadav only indicates that in the days to come, more people perhaps could be arrested? We'll get you documents that will show as to how Lalu Prasad Yadav's family has essentially benefited, how money was directly received by Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members. Documents as well as checks, bank accounts, all of that now accessed by Republic TV. I'll go across to my colleague Niranjan, who's also going to break down all the documents that we have accessed in a short while from now. Our colleague and senior editor Prakash will also be joining us to help us break down all the details that we have, the documents that we have accessed. But first up, let's take a look at a report filed by my colleague Prakash, and then we get you the exclusive documents.
The CBI has arrested a closest aide of Lalu Yadav, Bhola Yadav, and the CBI is also undertaking raids at 4 different premises of Bhola Yadav in Patna and Darbhanga, and also the premises of CA of Bhola Yadav is being raided. Now this case pertains to the IRCTC scam in which the premises of Lalu Yadav and Rabri Devi were raided in 2017, and after which Nitish Kumar parted ways with the Mahagathbandhan government. Now, what is the story? The story is this: there were lands which were transferred in the form of gifts to Lalu Yadav's family members, which includes his sons and daughters at various places, and also the shareholdings of the companies were transferred in the name of Tejasvi Yadav. Apparently, and at that point in time, the checks signed by Tejasvi Yadav were also received by the CBI, and after that the case is going on in Patiala court, and due to Corona the case was not expedited. Now, what is the role of Bhola Yadav? Bhola Yadav has been a witness as far as the shareholding transferred to Lalu Yadav's sons, as well as the lands which were in the form of gifts. Bhola Yadav had duly signed on all the land papers, which included the lands which were transferred in the form of gift from Kanti Devi, who was the minister in the union government, as well as other people who were appointed in the legislative council. They had also transferred the land, and Bhola Yadav was a witness on all the land papers. And Bhola Yadav's role became key because he is a witness to everything, all the wrongdoings of Lalu Yadav and his family members. Now, the CBI is conducting raids at different places, 4 premises. There we see the house help of Bhola Yadav. CBI has arrested Bhola Yadav in Delhi. Bhola Yadav was summoned in Delhi by the CBI 4 days back, and after that he was arrested today morning. And now the case becomes key because Bhola Yadav has been a witness of all the land transfers, all the illegal transactions as far as the shareholding in the different companies are concerned. So now all eyes are on the family members of Lalu Yadav, which includes Lalu Yadav's daughters, Rabri Devi, as well as Tejasvi Yadav, who is also one of the key accused in this IRCTC case. And whether they will be arrested or not, that is $1 million question. In Patna, with video journalist Kundan, Prakash Singh for Republic TV.
Tonight on this edition of This Is Exclusive, we are getting you more proof of the role that was played by then OSD of Union Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav, Bhola Yadav. What is the role that he has essentially played? My colleague Prakash did actually explain the role that he has played so far, but now we're going to put out those documents that will show as to how Bhola Yadav was actually a witness in this case, a signatory in those land documents. Remember, these lands were basically taken into the name of family members of Lalu Prasad Yadav. And let me tell you, they were not indirectly owned by Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members. They were directly gifted, and they were in the name of Lalu Prasad's wife, Rabri Devi, and not just that, even his daughters. Let me bring in my colleague Niranjan, and then also I'll go across to Prakash, who's got voluminous documents on this. But first to you, Niranjan, let's take our viewers through those documents where one can see Bhola Yadav as a witness, as a signatory to those very documents, which one would say is incriminating evidence that the Central Bureau of Investigation has when it comes to this particular case.
Well, it's fantastic because, you know, you see these documents here, and I'm just going to I'm going to try and, okay, just let me just go back to that. And let me show you the document once again. And this is the document, Shavan. Very interesting names in the documents, I must say. And I'm going to now try and zoom into the document. And it says here, and this is just one example about the donors, the party details, and there are presenters, you know, different people, but eventually the land was gifted to, okay, let me highlight it in red. This is Tej Pratap Yadav. Tej Pratap Yadav, and this is Tejasvi Yadav. So these are details of how the lands went eventually in the names of family members of Lalu, and this is one of the deed details from 2005. Essentially, the entire scam, if you know our viewers are watching, the scam is that when he was the railway minister, allegedly in lieu of jobs, people gave lands to the Lalu family, and huge amounts of land. Land for jobs scam is what it was. And let me show you the next document. If my team can pull up the next document, I'll show you the signatures and how Rabri Devi is also there in one of those pictures, in one of these documents. And I'm just going to try and go across to that in just a second. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. And if you can zoom into this, and you will see that another donor, signature of the donor Kanti Singh, and this here that you see in the photograph, signature of the witness, signature of the donor's mother, Doni's mother, this is Rabri Devi. And Rabri Devi also was a beneficiary according to the investigating agencies. Now these are documents I've showed you. We saw Tej Pratap Yadav's name, Tejasvi Yadav's name, and this is Rabri Devi's name, and signature of the witness in this case is Keshav Singh, etc. And signature of the donor Kanti Singh, again another character we saw there earlier, and Anwar Alam that you see, who signed on the picture of Rabri Devi. Now the scam is huge, and I think Abhishek will know and you will know, Shavan, about how many lands were just gifted to Lalu's family in lieu of jobs. Back to you for now.
Well, Niranjan, I'm also told that senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sushil Modi, is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Modi has played a pivotal role in highlighting this land for job scam. Mr. Modi, thank you very much for joining us. My colleague and our senior editor, Prakash, will also be joining us on this broadcast and taking some questions with you. But let me begin by asking you, one big arrest that has been made, that is of Bhola Yadav. Tonight we are showing our viewers that there were dozens of such deeds that were basically signed by Bhola Yadav, and one such document that we have got our hands on. My sources within the agency, Mr. Modi, says that they are essentially looking at a large number of appointments. Some could be absolutely new to the public domain altogether. So it is amply clear that what we are staring at right now is just the tip of the iceberg.
देखिए, लालू यादव के 40 से ज़्यादा ज़मीनों के खरीद बिक्री की जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, इन मोर देन 40 डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऑफ परचेज और सेल ऑफ लालू यादव प्रॉपर्टी. In all these 40 cases, Bhola Yadav is a witness and he is signed in all these documents. So he is the main kingpin. He was always with Lalu Prasad Yadav when he was a railway minister. He knows each and everything. And he was so confident of Lalu Yadav's family that he has signed in all the documents of land purchase or sale. So Lalu Yadav, he gave jobs to more than 24 people, and CBI has been able to identify about 7 cases in which they have a proof that the land has been transferred in the name of Lalu's family, and the people who have transferred the land, they are those people or those family men who has got job when Lalu Yadav was railway minister. And one Hirdanand Chaudhary has also been arrested, and this Hirdanand Chaudhary, the same person who was working as a khalasi in the railway coaching complex Rajendra Nagar, and he has transferred 70 lakh rupees cost of land, a prime land of Patna, to Lalu Yadav's 5th daughter Hema Yadav. So it is very surprising that how a 4th grade employee, a khalasi of railway, he is having a 70 lakh property in Patna, and why he will transfer his so costly land to Hema Yadav. So the modus operandi was this, that without any advertisement, applications were taken from these beneficiaries, and they were appointed in Jabalpur, Mumbai, Hajipur, some other remote places. And after 2 years or 3 years, lands were being transferred from the family members of these beneficiaries in the name of Lalu's family. And CBI has been able to unearth 3 documents, 3 instances of land which has been transferred in the name of Rabri Devi. One land in the name of Misa Bharti. One parcel of land in the name of AK Infosys Private Limited. And 2 pieces of land in the name of Hema Yadav. So in this way, Lalu Yadav's slogan was, तुम मुझे जमीन दो, मैं तुम्हें नौकरी दूंगा. और देखिए, this law never dies. If you have committed a crime even 30-40 years back, the law will never die. One day the law will take caught of your hand, will catch hold of you. तो CBI ने जो भोला यादव की गिरफ्तारी की है, and Prakash ji is there, he has covered a story. He has interviewed about 5 years back this Hirdanand Chaudhary, who was working in the railway coaching complex. तो आज जो भी कुछ हुआ, ये मेरे लिए आश्चर्य की बात नहीं है. मुझे तो लगता था ये और पहले होना चाहिए था, लेकिन जब सीबीआई को सारे प्रमाण मिले हैं, एंड वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन that in the year 2007, Sri Lalan Singh, who is the national president of JDU, and Sri Sharad Yadav and Sri Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, all three met Manmohan Singh and they submitted a memorandum saying that Lalu Yadav is giving job and taking away the land, so CBI inquiry should be instituted. लेकिन मनमोहन सिंह ने kept those documents in cold storage and he never took any action against Lalu Prasad Yadav. And after so many years, CBI has been able to unearth with the proof. Everybody knows in Bihar. Everybody knows. And the CBI has been able to unearth only 7 cases. But people in Bihar know that there are more than 20, 30 cases in which jobs were given and land were transferred. But it becomes very difficult to prove the case, to find out the documents, to find out everything. So इसलिए personally I am not surprised. And this Hridayanand Chaudhary, I am showing the photograph. This Hridayanand Chaudhary. This is Hridayanand Chaudhary, railway ka khalasi, and I have documented this in my book Lalu Leela. So this railway khalasi or this Hridayanand Chaudhary who has transferred land in the name of Hema Yadav. So for people of Bihar, these things are nothing new. Everybody knows in Bihar, but ultimately CBI has been able to unearth all these things. Thank you.
Mr. Modi, I'll just request you to stay on as my colleague and our senior editor Prakash ji is also joining us. Prakash ji, take the next question.
Mr. Modi, you have unearthed many revelations in this particular case for sure, and the one such documents of Kanti Devi is in my hand, in which she has gifted land to Tej Pratap Yadav and Tejasvi Yadav. So you earlier said, तुम मुझे जमीन दो मैं तुम्हें नौकरी दूंगा. ये शीर्षक ये भी होना चाहिए कि तुम मुझे जमीन दो मैं तुम्हें मंत्री बनाऊंगा. Were Kanti Singh and Raghunath Jha and few other legislative council members were nominated as ministers and MLCs in lieu of being land gifted to Lalu Yadav? Can you throw us light on this?
Mrs. Kanti Singh was made a union minister, and in lieu of being made a union minister, she gifted her 2-storied land along with 2-storied house in a prime location in Patna. So Kanti Singh ने अपना 2 मंजिला मकान गिफ्ट में दे दिया. Surprising, why Kanti Singh has gifted her 2-storied house to Tejasvi Yadav. Now Kanti Singh's son is MLA of Bihar. Why she didn't gift it to her son? Instead of gifting to her son, she gifted to Tejasvi Yadav. And when Raghunath Jha, he was also made union minister. And Raghunath Jha also gifted his 2-storied bungalow in Gopalganj to Tejasvi Yadav and Tej Pratap Yadav. So there are more than half a dozen cases. Rakesh Ranjan, Shami Muhammad, they were made member of legislative council. One of them was appointed under governor quota. So Lalu के लिए चाहे MLA बनना हो, MP बनना हो, मंत्री बनना हो, नौकरी पाना हो, हर काम के लिए जमीन लिखवा लीजिए. So as on today, Lalu family is a jamindar of more than 150 properties. More than 150 properties in Bihar and outside Bihar. So the man who used to stay in Chaprasi quarter 35 years back, how he's been able to acquire such huge plots of land, such huge property. So his simple formula was, मैं तुम्हारी मदद करूँगा लेकिन तुमको उसके बदले में और ज़मीन लिखवानी पड़ेगी. ये उनका मोडस ऑपरेंडी था. तो इसलिए बिहार के लोगों के लिए ये कोई आश्चर्य की बात नहीं है.
वो तो सर चला.
Thank you, Mr. Modi, for joining us on Republic TV.
That organizations like PFI and SDPI may have links in the murder of BJP Yuva Morcha worker Praveen Netar. All this and much more on the other side.
Amity University has India's largest scholarship program, from which